Hi everyone, today we're going to hand letter a quote card or a sticker in Procreate. So many of you have asked me, how did I get this card into Target? And I think the most important thing to say is that I think what I've done over the years that made this happen is drawing regularly, doing little designs like this all the time, putting so many out there, and then one happened to take off. It's not that I just did one card and it took off. It's all the cards that came before it, all the designs that came before it that get you to that point where people are really noticing your work. So we're gonna do one of these today, quick and easy, and you can follow along with me. A problem I've noticed is that many people wanna do hand lettering in their work, and they know that it would help them sell more art, but they're scared to try it or practice it. These artists often think their lettering has to be perfect, and they're afraid to make mistakes. I think the solution is in the AI age. Handmade lettering is trending. People don't want your perfect letters. They want fun and funky ones. So let's make some together in this tutorial. I want to show you some proof here before we dive in. I've been making not perfect lettering for years, and all of my lettering based products are the best selling ones. We can't emphasize that enough, right? Lettering is also the top custom work request I get. My calendars, my greeting cards, my custom work, my books, these are my top sellers, and they all have lettering. It's important to be able to share messages in your work, not just visually through images, but also through words. So let's dive into that. By the way, I'm Liz Kohler Brown. I'm a surface designer and hand letterer, and I love helping people find their style and sell their work. So I want to note before we get started that the more words you include in a composition, the more difficult it is. So if you're just starting out, maybe just doing one word would be plenty. And then if you feel more advanced, going with a whole phrase would be good. So go with wherever you are. This is one of my best-selling calendar thumbnails that I've ever used on Etsy, and it's literally a few little loops, the word May. So you can keep it as simple as you want. If you are following with my calendar illustration tutorials and you want to do this as a calendar page, you could do a square image to post on social media. I'm doing a 5x7 greeting card. So go ahead and go with whatever works for you, whatever works for your style. I'm going to make a happy anniversary card. And of course that could apply for any anniversary. So this is one of those good standard phrases that if you're building a licensing portfolio, it's a good idea to have it in your portfolio. But, others would be like, happy birthday, all the standards. Make yourself a list of all the standards and go through them, and then you've just got that available. I am really loosely drawing guides. I'm not doing anything fancy here, just throwing down some places where my words can follow. And I know they're a little wonky. That's how I like it. I like it to be a little off, and I think that's part of the character of my work. That doesn't mean your work has to be that way, of course, but I'm just telling you why I make some of these choices. So can you see when I draw letters that I'm using, rather than doing it like cursive like this, I'm doing like a circle and a line. And I want to note here that I'm using my Everything Bagel Brush Set sketching pencil. So if you want to grab my Everything Bagel Brush Set, it's a freebie right below this video, and you can use the exact same brushes I'm using here. But the important thing to note here is that I'm using shapes. I'm not using handwriting. So I'm drawing a line, a line, a line, a circle, and let's do all the circles at the same time so we're getting a vibe of the circle. I know a Y isn't a circle, but it should have that same feel as your other circles. So there's the word happy, and you can see I went over it a few times to just make sure I'm getting the shapes exactly how I want them to be. And this is the sketch phase, so we can go over and over it. I'm going to take a little bit of time on every letter. So I'm running out of space already. I'm just going to select everything, make it smaller, and that means I need to increase the size of my little grid. This is a pretty common thing for letterers to just run out of space. Okay, there's anniversary. Wow, that's a big word. So this is a tricky word. The smaller the word, the easier it is. So you might want to start with smaller words and then go up over time. We also need to make a decision. Do we want our words all the way up in the corner here and then an illustration or something below, or do we want to bring it down? Maybe we want to have a few different versions. We can also get the freehand selection tool and select one or more words and move them around. So this is the first thing I do, is I get the letters right, because the lettering is kind of the bones of a composition like this, and if it's not right, then the whole composition feels weird. So this is why I do the lettering first. Then I'm going to create a new layer, same sketching pencil, and maybe just sketch in whatever my illustration's going to be. And it doesn't have to be flowers, it could be birthday. If you're doing happy birthday, it could be a birthday cake, birthday candles. Could be anything here. A little cat, happy anniversary cat, happy cat anniversary. Something like different, you know, something that not everyone creates would be fun. And then if I'm going to have any other pops of illustration or detail, I will just throw those in. So let's just put a few little guys here and there, kind of spreading the color out so it feels like the color spread out all over. And this guy's ready to go. I'm not going to spend any more time than that. I'm just going to group everything, and it's all on one big group. You can either keep that as it is, or you can duplicate the group and then merge everything so you've got one sketch layer. Some people like to do that, so it's just one single layer. I kind of like to just keep things clean, you know? So I tend to try to get things out of my way as quickly as I can. So the first thing I want to do is choose a loop size for my lettering, and I'm using that dual pencil here from the Everything Bagel Brush Set. So I kind of just adjust the pencil size and choose a loop based on the smallest loop I can find. So that's the smallest loop here is the R. Maybe even like the E would be a small one too. So I want to make sure it works with that before I dive in. And then I'm just going to go straight into sketching. And you know, some people would do 5, 6 layers before they would be ready to fully ink, but you know, I find that the faster I dive in, the messier it is, the more people like it. So I'm trying to resist the temptation to control things so much, and I'm trying to just go with loose and gritty and playful. I also want to note that I have a whole script class that you can watch with a free trial, which we'll link right below, and we go through all the basics of script. So if any aspects of this are feeling just overwhelming for you, this would be a good class for you, because we go through everything you need to know to go from I've never done anything with script to I feel really confident with my script and I know the rules. Because there are some rules. If you never even wrote in cursive, it might be even harder for you. And so we cover all those rules and give you a bunch of visualizations for it in the class. So once I've gotten all of those words inked, I'm going to start doing the same thing with the florals. The florals are going to come second because that is secondary when it comes to the whole composition, because the composition is all about the lettering, right? That's the first thing I want my viewers to focus on. And then we've got the florals, which are going to kind of peek behind the letters a little bit. And I'm going super loose and funky with these florals. This is not going to be a fancy sketch. This is going to be loose. I'm just giving myself a little visualization of like where the flower is going to go, how big are they going to be, what's going to be the overall feel, how flowy are they, do they peek behind the letters or not? All those little things are important. I think we need one more here. We've got a pink dead zone here, so I'm just going to pop one. That's why sketching helps so much. It just helps you identify where the kind of missing pieces in my composition. Now we could add one more flower type if you wanted, or you know, whatever kind of illustration you're doing, you could make it more complex, or you could keep it really, really simple, because you know, people are focusing here on the words. They're not focusing so much on the illustration. The illustration's just supporting it. So we're focusing more time on our letters and less time on the illustration. I'm using the rough inking brush from the Everything Bagel Brush Set to just sketch in some very rough and loose stems. Kind of just want to see the thickness of these stems before I dive any deeper into doing like leaves or any other little parts of this. Now I'm just going to go through with that same brush and put down some really simple leaves and see how rough and loose I'm going. I'm really not trying to be perfect. And you know, in the beginning of making art, I always tried to make everything perfect. I took all the time and just tried to really force it to be pretty. And I think what's really beautiful in the end is just natural beauty, looseness, the human hand, the roughness of just going quickly and kind of shaky and moving, and you know, movement is important. Like people can see how your hand moved when you did the work, and if you're holding your pencil tight like you're just gonna force it to be good, your viewers are gonna feel that. So keep it loose. There's actually an exercise in drawing school where you have to hold your pencil in a different way, like hold it in a way that you don't normally hold it, like this, and see what your leaves turn out as. It's kind of fun actually, and if your hand ever hurts, it's a good way to switch up your positioning. So bam, that's it. I'm not going to do any more work on the sketch. I'm going to turn off the canvas guide so I can really see everything. I'm happy. I'm not going to take any more time on this. So I'll speed up the video here for the inking part because it's going to be really repetitive. But just so you know, what I'm going to do is create a new layer, get a dark color, get the rough inking brush, and I'm just going to go through and ink everything just like this, inking all the letters, new color, new layer. I'll choose a color for the flowers. Let's do an orange to start with. We will make color versions, but you get the idea. I'll do the flowers, same thing with the leaves, and then I'll just put the tiniest little bit of detail on each one. It's not going to be super fancy, just keeping it simple, and then we'll make color versions together at the end. It's question time. This is the part of the video where I answer a question from one of you all who has written a question to me under my video. This is from my faster seamless repeat patterns in Procreate with a false half drop pattern. This person says, love this. One thing, how come you do the sketching in Procreate and not Affinity? Seems more streamlined to just do it in one software. And another one says, I'm confused. I thought you said this was in Procreate, so why did you say Affinity Designer at the end? Okay, let's talk about this. Why do I use two apps? Why do I switch from one to another, and why don't I just stay in one? Number one, I think Procreate has done the best job at making sketching feel realistic. I started in traditional art. I did drawing and painting for years, so I need to feel that real feel. Any little bit of lag, any little bit of when you turn your pencil, it does this versus this, I notice it and it really bothers me. So I love sketching in Procreate. That's where I do my hand lettering, my illustration, my sketching. That's what I do. Then I use vectors in Affinity. I do all my vector work in Affinity. So I pretty much do all my drawing and inking over in Procreate, and then I move it to Affinity just because I like the feel of it. I like to be able to enjoy my process. Now, would it be faster to draw in Affinity? I don't know. It hasn't been faster for me because I get frustrated with it not being super lifelike. Now they're coming out with an update soon, so let's see if it's better. I hope it is. But if it's not, then I will continue working in Procreate. All that to say, you could do it all in Affinity. And I do have tutorials where I show how to do it all in Affinity. If you head to my free Affinity 101 course, that's how we do it. So totally up to you. Do you want to use both? Do you want to use one? Do it either way, but do what feels good for you and you enjoy most. So we're almost there. I think a couple things we're missing is something feels a little funny at the end of this lettering. I think that the final part of the word is just a little bit too far away, and it felt like it wasn't part of the word. And then let's fix right here. I think this whole section needs to get bumped up. So really at this stage, we're just making little micro improvements. So we just step back and take a look at it from a bird's eye view, you know, zoom out, zoom in, make sure you're really seeing all the various angles and seeing what needs to be addressed. So I feel pretty good about that. I like to save the final detail for very last because I know that I may make some tweaks at this stage. So this is where I'm just being open to like, okay, this flower might be gone, this leaf might need to change, or we might need to add some things. Like we overlapped a lot over here, but we didn't overlap much over here. So maybe this little leaf could get expanded to become an overlapping leaf. So little things like that can just tie the whole illustration together a little better. And maybe you also want to add some other little flowers or other elements, totally up to you, of course. What I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and add in my detail. So I'll add a little detail on each flower, and then I'll add a little detail on each leaf. We could do a vein, or we could do the full veins, totally up to you, depends on your style, but I'll take just a minute to finish that up now that I feel pretty good about the whole composition. So that is the essential steps of this composition. Now, of course, there's going to be a whole phase of tweaking things. This may not be the final color version. This may not be the final layout, but this feels like the solid final version. So at that point, I'm going to go to my gallery, tap select and duplicate, and now I can start playing a little deeper. So I like to save that original version because things might get a little wild here. I might change some things, I might alter some things, and then I might wish I could go back. So that's why I go ahead and create that new version. I'm considering these little pink flowers in here just to give it a little bit more of a boost. So anything that supports the lettering is okay, right? This is all about the lettering and the word happy anniversary. We just want to highlight it in a really beautiful way, but we don't want to go so distracting that it's like, you know, you don't even see the word anymore. Another thing we could do is play with the color on the word happy anniversary. Maybe it needs to match the green better, or we can press hue, saturation, brightness, and just try a variety of different colors. So I would always do that, and then I would always play with, let's add more flowers, less flowers, see how that goes. Once I get that final version, I would select that and duplicate it. I end up with a lot of duplicates in the end, but I like to save all the stages. Then I would try some different color versions. Like, what if we did some like dark backgrounds? Maybe a dark background would be a better move. And then we change the color of the text to be something light. So little shifts like that can change the whole composition, turn it into something totally different. So that is exactly what I did with this card that got into Target. I did all of those steps, making so many different versions that by the end, by the time I was ready to submit this, I felt so super confident about every aspect of the color, to the illustrations, to the words, that I felt really confident about it. And I felt like it was going to be a good seller when I submitted it. So I hope that inspires you to do this and know that this doesn't have to be really difficult. Lettering doesn't have to be complicated. Remember, we have that whole script class that you can get with a free trial to my membership. You can watch the class right now. If you're feeling unsure about your lettering and you just don't know how to make it look good, that class will take you through the whole process. If you like this video, you might also like my Make Sellable Graphics video, one of the most popular on my channel, where I show how to take little icons and patterns and turn them into a sellable set. Also, in my Draw Better Flourishes video, we do a deep dive into drawing flourishes, which goes really well with lettering.